We're off stage with the New York Philharmonic at Barnes & Noble at Lincoln Center with pianist Emanuel, who this week is playing the Beethoven Emperor Concerto with the New York Philharmonic, and conductor David Robertson. Did you not know?
Didn't know.
Okay, well, good. It's good that you're here, so you can be prepared. That's just you've been playing the Emperor 5 a lot lately, the Emperor Concerto a lot lately, different orchestras around the world. When you come to New York and know you've got the Philharmonic ahead of you, how does that change your anticipation of the performance?
Well, I don't know that it would change it in a specific way, because first of all, you get nervous every time you play this piece. But I know the orchestra really well. I've done a lot of things with them, so I feel like I'm among friends. I've worked with David Robertson many times, so again, I feel like I'm working with a friend. So I think it's very exciting to look forward to hearing what they will do and how I can respond to it. I think that's the wonderful thing about collaborating with different orchestras, especially orchestras on the level of this one.
You rehearsed yesterday, first time for this performance.
Right.
Do you go through the whole thing, or do you do spot checks? Do you take a look at a couple of passages?
In this case, we played through the entire first movement, then we went back and played spots, then we played through the second and third movement, went back and did spots. Obviously, the Philharmonic knows this piece incredibly well.
Well, but so do you.
Well, I hope I know it fairly well, but so what you're looking for in rehearsal, generally speaking, is not so much getting things together as getting a feeling for the direction that you want the piece to go in. It's a great masterpiece, and like all great masterpieces, there are hundreds of ways of playing this music. Not only do different performers play it differently, obviously, but the same performer changes from night to night. So we're looking for a way to communicate, to feel what each other's doing, and to get comfortable to the point where there's actually flexibility that can happen in the performance.
How much of that is communicated verbally, and how much of that in rehearsal is about talking about places, ideas, and how much of it is just what happens in the making of the music?
I'd say about 2% is verbal, and the rest of it is just unspoken. The verbal part is usually to clarify something that's already happened.
Can you give an example?
Well, let's say that there was a place where normally the orchestra would move ahead in time, and I might want to take a little time. I will take a little time, they will notice it, and I might say at the end of the movement, I sort of do that each time. So in other words, it wasn't an accident, so let's plan on it. Or if I hear the oboe do something, I might ask, are we going to do that this way, more or less, what, that sort of thing. Mostly I think you find things happening unspoken.
That's wonderful.
But I think that's true of almost all relationships, actually, not just...
I don't know, I'm married, and so I would...
So you don't speak, as I don't, exactly. I understand.
Well, there are some exchanges of words. I'm not sure there's any communication.
Not on my part, though. I mean, I understand, yeah.
Then a piece that is like this, so familiar, and as you say, there are so many ways to play it right, I would say. There's so many ways to say this message correctly. Are you looking for a new way? Are you looking for a comfortable way? Are you looking to strike some kind of agreement?
Again, I don't think any of that's a conscious decision. I think what happens with any luck is that there will be things in the first run-through that will be not familiar and that'll be exciting, and that they or I will feel that's nice, it's different, let's do it. That sort of thing, I think. It's amazing the number of possibilities and the number of, the range of error, I guess you could say. You could play this piece very slowly, very fast, mostly loud, mostly soft, with the balance favoring the piano, with the balance favoring the orchestra, with more brass and less strings, vice versa. The piece is such an incredible it all works. You know, that's one of the joys of doing music on that level. And that's why sometimes I think it may take more care and trouble to do music that's not quite so exalted, if I'm making sense. I guess what I mean is there may be less room for error in the music of Liszt or Rachmaninoff than there is in Beethoven.
Because you might say the gestures in Liszt and Rachmaninoff, the gestures are broader, the emotions are more powerfully expressed. There's a little, well, I don't know, it's Beethoven, so he does come up and grab you by the lapels.
Yeah. I think it's maybe just a thing for, I'm always very confident in a sense that whatever happens with my performance of a concerto like The Emperor, I can't really spoil the evening for anybody, even if I play badly, because the piece somehow just comes through. That's what's so comforting about that. You know, it's very...
As a somewhat, well, no, I'll take that back, since I didn't really say anything so far. I was going to say, you're an extraordinarily modest performer. You have to have enough of an ego to be able to go up before 3,000 people and say, hey folks, let me show you this. You have to be able to do that. And yet, you are not a man of strong, powerful, overwhelming, visible ego. And this concerto shoves you onto the stage a little harder than some of the others do. So do you feel that when you go on? This piece says, I'm the pianist, we're going to do it my way.
Oh, well, the piano part in this piece has a tremendous ego. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, to some degree, pianists are actors. We don't have to be, I don't have to be a killer to play one in a murder mystery. and I don't, you know, I don't have to act a certain way in order to understand what the music, I think clearly in this piece, in fact, in most Beethoven, the music is extremely self-confident and self-proclaiming. You know, Beethoven wrote the early sonatas and the early trios and most of the early piano music to show that not only he was a great composer, but that he was certainly by far the greatest pianist of his time. And I think that's very clear. But I don't think that the public and private, that musical personality and the other personality necessarily have to jibe at all. I mean, otherwise we'd be stuck. You know, nobody who was comfortable with Chopin could ever do a Copland piece. I think we have to be able to kind of go in all those directions.
You're an actor. That's such a wonderful way to think about it. That's just grand.